All right, what is going on, guys? This Saturday is UFC Fight Night Moreno I forgot the motherfucker's name. Albazi. Damn, man, my memory. Shit. This weekend is UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Albazi. I'm going to go over my full card predictions. What the fuck? I thought something hit me. Anyway, moving on. Opening up early prelims, we have Jamie Lynn Horth versus Ivana Petrovic. What we have here, very low-level women's MMA. I am going to side with the Canadian on this. She has fought a little bit better opposition so far in her, her 7-fight career. Really not looking forward to this fight, but I think she's just a little bit more well-rounded than Ivana. So moving on, we have Chad Ann Hellinger versus Cody Gibson. Kind of a couple older, maybe veterans, you could say, kind of. Cody Gibson's been in and out of the UFC, I believe, twice, and fighting in all sorts of promotions. Very well-rounded fighter. So I am going to be actually going with Cody Gibson in this one. I believe he's even the underdog. Oh, no, he's the favorite. For some reason, I thought he was the underdog. Not that Gibson has a ton of great wins. Chad and Hellinger is losing to some very, very bad people. And I think Cody Gibson is way more well-rounded. He has a way better, bigger reach advantage, as you can see here. He has a 71-inch reach, where Chad and Hellinger has a 64.5-inch reach. And a pretty big height advantage. I didn't see that either. 5'6" to 5'10". And he's kind of pretty good everywhere. He's got good cardio, Gibson does. So I think I'll be able to go a hard 3 rounds and get the win over Chad and Hellinger. Moving up. This should be a good fight right here. We have Sherry Sidney versus Garrett Armfield. Coming off that, I guess you could call it a war with, I can't remember the guy's name. I have it on the Tapology right here. Roman Tavares. They fought twice. He just got one win over him, and if I remember correctly, I thought he actually won. Actually scored that fight for him that he lost to Roman Tavares. It was a very close fight, though. Very good fight. Both guys took a lot of damage in that fight. I think Garrett Armfield is it, because I think he's the underdog, yeah. I think a lot of people are underlooking Garrett Armfield. He's a very solid. He does have a pretty big height disadvantage, though. But he's a very solid fighter. Who did he fight in his last fight? I can't remember. I had it pulled up. Brady Heinstead. But he has a win over Bracatona. I know Bracatona is not the best. I'm going to go Garrett Armfield. I think Garrett Armfield is going to be good enough to get it done. I am going to be picking... Oh, I forgot to pick. I'm going to pick this via decision. All these are going to be decisions. I'm going to go so far. I'm going to do Garrett Armfield via decision. I think he's going to have what it takes to get past Sherry Sidney, if I'm saying that right. Moving up. Alexander Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. This should be hopefully an exciting fight. Heavyweight, hopefully someone will get knocked out. Rodrigo Nascimento's last fight, if I remember correct, yeah, it was against Derek Lewis. I was there live. Good fight, kinda, for a heavyweight main event. Am I thinking? Yeah, I'm thinking that right. For some reason I was getting Rodrigo Nascimento confused with the other Brazilian that Derek Lewis flying kneed. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. But sometimes when you got Alexander Romanov, sometimes he comes in and he's in shape and he looks like he's weighing like 230, 240, and then sometimes he's like having to cut to 265. And the last few times he's been in there, he's just looked like absolute shit. So even though he's coming off of a loss, I'm going to have to go Rodrigo Nascimento. Probably, I think he's going to get a first-round knockout or TKO. Yeah, it's just, Romanov looks like shit in all of his fights. He's got like a minute or two of cardio. Not that Nascimento has the best cardio either. I mean, I think it was in the 4th round that him and Derek Lewis's fight ended. But, at least he went to the 4th round, where Romanov, a minute or two in the fights, he's gassed out. So I'm going to go on Rodrigo Nascimento, first round TKO. Moving on up the card, we have Jack Shore versus Yusuf Salal. And for me, this is a pretty easy, clear-cut decision. I'm going to be going Yusuf Salal via decision. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. Fought a little bit better competition. He's fought Ilia Topuria, lost Ilia Topuria. At one point, I think he lost 3 in a row to some pretty decent level opposition. Now he's come back on a long win streak. I think he will have what it takes to get it done over Jack Shore. Moving on up the card, we have Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry. Again, he's one of those guys, Jourdain is, in his last fight, shit, who did he fight? I just was just looking at it. I just had it pulled up. Who the fuck did he use? I know he lost, but I can't remember who it was to. Jean Silva. And the Sean Woodson fight. So, Sean Woodson's fight was a close fight. The Jean Silva fight, pretty clear. Yeah, he got fucking knocked out for the first time. That's what it was. I was trying to remember. He's taking a decent bit of time off. That was in January, I believe it was. Victor Henry, he's not good. He's not good. He had that controversial... was his last fight or the fight before that? He had that controversial bullshit. Let's see. Fight before that with Java Bastrap. I remember that. That shit was stupid. But I think Charles Jourdain he's got better jiu-jitsu. He definitely has a jiu-jitsu advantage. Maybe give a slight edge to Victor Henry in the striking. But Charles Jourdain does have good kicks. I think Victor Henry's tough enough to stick it out for all 3 rounds. I think Jourdain will be able to implement his grappling and win via decision quite easily. All right, moving up the card, we have Ariane De Silva versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Somewhat higher level women's MMA fight. Jasmine Jasudavicius, I believe she's on a 2-fight winning streak, and De Silva on a 1-fight losing streak. Ariane, I'm very, very terrible at pronouncing names. Ariane De Silva. Irene? Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go on Ariane De Silva via decision. Jasudavicius she's getting older. I believe she's like mid to late 30s, like 35, 36, somewhere in there. And Ariana, we're just going to go with that. Damn, man. I believe she's 30 years old. Both fought decent level opposition in the UFC. And a couple of good wins over decent level opposition in the UFC. But I think De Silva will have what it takes to get through Jasmine Jasudavicius. And I believe she is even ranked higher. Let's see. Yep. And then maybe she can work towards getting higher ranking opponent next after this. Moving on up the card. Amin Zahabi versus Pedro Munoz. Now, Pedro Munoz has kind of been on a slide recently. Let's pull up his last few wins. He's like essentially trading wins and losses, or going on lose. Yeah, like look at this: loss. Win over Chris Gutierrez, no contest with Sean O'Malley. Before that, 2 loss. Now he's losing a good competition. Kyler Phillips, all right competition. Marlon Vera, definitely a top 10 opponent. And then we got obviously Dominic Cruz, all the former champions. Frankie Edgar, same with him. He's got to win over Cody Garbrandt and Rob Font. Those were kind of a while ago, like 2017, 2019. I know Pedro Munoz is... Well, no, shit. I thought he was going to be the bigger favorite. I'm going to go Amin Zahabi. I think Amin Zahabi is going to get it done via decision. Munoz is really hard to get out of there. Shows that he's really hard to finish. I think he's getting too old. He's taking too much damage. Especially in his last fight, he didn't quit. He's getting the shit beat out of him. Kyler Phillips was that unrelentless pressure he was putting. He couldn't do that with Rob Font for whatever reason, but he could with Pedro Munoz. I just see Amin Zahabi being able to out-grapple him, use his grappling to set up the striking, and outwork Pedro Munoz via decision. I'm picking a lot of decisions on this card. Moving on. Mike Malott versus Trevin Giles, a banger. Mike Malott in that fucking stinker performance versus Neil Magny. I mean, I guess it really wasn't a stinker. He essentially won the whole fight and then gassed out towards the end of the third round. Got taken down and fully mounted from Neil Magny and pounded out to get TKO by Neil Magny. There was like 10 seconds left, if I remember correctly. Trevin Giles isn't good. I'm going to go Mike Malott via this. How many times has Trevin Giles been KO'd? Malott's not like a drop. Like, he's not going to just knock people. He's only been KO'd 3 times. The last grappling. I'm going to go Mike Malott via decision. I don't think he'll be able to KO him. He couldn't KO Neil Magny, but we'll see if Neil Magny's about to get KO'd. I think it's next weekend versus Carlos Pratas. I think he's got better striking than Trevin Giles. Probably better grappling, too. Giles just isn't that good. He's just not that good. I'm going to go Mike Malott via decision. Moving up. Man, they're just wanting these Canadians to get wins. We have Marc-Andre Barriault versus Dustin Stolfus. Dustin Stolfus doesn't even belong to be in the UFC. He is garbage. I think he's on like a 3-fight losing streak, if I remember correctly. Oh, he's only on a 1-fight losing streak. Man, I forgot about this fight. I totally forgot about it. I guess he still wouldn't be on a 3-fight losing streak. But, I mean, if you look, he's losing to Kyle Dawkins. I mean, the win over Joe Pyfer doesn't mean it. I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything, but it was kind of a... if they fought again, Joe Pyfer would demolish him. Yeah. I think Marc-Andre Barriault definitely has the power advantage, no pun intended. I think he's going to knock Dustin Stolfus out. I'm going to go Marc-Andre Barriault, second round KO, TKO. They're going to be going back and forth in the first round, and then I think in the second round, Barriault's going to find the shot to hurt Stolfus, put him down, and finish him with ground and pound in the second round. Get the power bar, a win. Moving up the card, we have Kyle Machado versus Brendason Ribeiro. Kyle Machado, this is a light heavyweight, isn't it? Yep. Coming down from heavyweight, had 2 fights, lost both of them. It was Mick Parkin and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. When guys move down, like, I remember seeing him in his debut thinking, like, this guy doesn't even look that big for heavyweight. What is he? 6'4"? I mean, he looks like he could almost fight at middleweight. I know he's 6'4", but he's not like that. Like, this guy looks like he belongs at light heavyweight. If you're just looking at people, you know, but anyway, kind of a heavyweight or a light heavyweight stinker. Not super shit. I'm going to go Kyle Machado. What are the odds? That's what I was thinking. I think he's a little better. You know, even in the fights he lost, he showed that he wasn't going to quit. I'll go Kyle Machado via... I'm going to go via decision. I think Ribeiro will be able to hold out all 3 rounds. Picking a lot of decisions on this. Now the next one, moving up the card. Derek Lewis versus Jonathan Deans. And if you look at, he's a heavy favorite. I don't know why. Like, if we look at he's 8-0 undefeated. Okay, I understand that. He's young. I believe he's 28. He's 33. Shit, man. For some reason, I thought he was 28 years old. 33 years old. Beat Austin Lane. Austin Lane is a bum. He beat the big, tall-ass motherfucker in his last fight. But that guy has no grappling. He can't grapple to save his life. Carl Williams, like, he's okay. Nothing great. Derek Lewis, I mean, he's fought the who's who of the heavyweight division. He's either going to lose by KO or win by KO. That's typically what happens in a Derek Lewis fight. I'm picking Derek Lewis via first-round KO. I don't understand why Deans is such a heavy favorite. I know Derek Lewis is kind of just got power, and that's really it. I mean, he has no jiu-jitsu, no wrestling. Got some decent kicks. He does have good kicks. He was throwing up some kicks in his last fight. And then the one, I think it was the one before that he got the flying knee in. But maybe it's 2 fights ago. Or I guess it'd be 3 fights ago by this point. But I'm going to go Derek Lewis via first round KO. At heavyweight, anything can happen, realistically. But I think Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, will get a win here. Moving on. Co-main event. Erin Blanchfield versus Rose Namajunas. A lot of people are picking Erin Blanchfield in this fight. And I think her easiest path to victory would be to hold Rose down, take her down, hold her against the cage, pretty much win by control time. She could finish her. She does have some good submissions. But I'm going to be picking Rose Namajunas via decision. I think, she's a former champion. When Blanchfield faced her steepest test in competition in her last fight, she lost. I mean, her striking is atrocious. Rose isn't the best striker, but she's a veteran. She's been here for a while. Champion. I think she definitely has better striking than Blanchfield, and has some good kicks as well. Excuse me. So I'm going to pick Rose Namajunas via decision. I think she'll be able to outwork Erin Blanchfield, negate the wrestling, keep it on the feet, and get the W. And then maybe even get a title shot. Because, well, you got Manafjord. Should I get Manafjord beat Shevchenko? Then maybe not. I don't know. If Shevchenko can beat Manafjord, then Rose could definitely get a title shot then. Because then you kind of got one champ versus another. Ex-champ. Moving on. Main event. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi coming off a long layoff. Last win. Kai Kara-France. Very controversial. I thought he lost the fight. I thought Kai Kara-France won. Brandon Moreno coming off the very close fight with Brandon Royval. I thought Royval won that fight pretty clearly in my opinion, but I could understand how if you scored it for Moreno. I give the striking advantage. He's, man, this is a close fight. This is a hard fight to pick. They're both pretty decent at wrestling. They can both go 5 rounds. Now, I would give Moreno the cardio advantage and to be able to go a harder 5 rounds. He's done it several times, won a hard 5 rounds. I think most of his last few fights have all been 5-round fights. Let's go take a quick look. How many fights have been 5-round fights that he's just had? The Royval fight, the Pantoja fight, Figueiredo, not 5 rounds. The France fight was not 5 rounds. That was 5 rounds. Man, I keep thinking he's gone 5 rounds more than he has. I guess he hasn't. But he definitely has more 5-round experience than Amir Albazi. I think he could go harder, push the harder pace. And if he ever wants to be champ again, I don't know. It's tough. If Kaya Sakara can beat Pantoja and then Moreno can beat Albazi, maybe one more win and he gets a title shot because I think Royval's kind of deserving. He beat a former champion and then he beat the hottest up-and-coming prospect in the flyweight division, Tatsuro Taira. So I think that definitely earns him a title shot over the winner of Pantoja and Kaya Sakara. For my official prediction, I'm going to be going Brandon Moreno via decision. I don't think he's going to be able to finish Amir Albazi, although I think he has more finishing potential than Amir Albazi. I think he can finish it on the ground with a submission, with ground and pound, and I don't think he can knock him out cold, but I think he could hurt him on the feet and then finish him on the ground. So if Moreno does win via finish, I think it's more likely to be hurts him on the feet, drops him, or takes him down while he's hurt and finishes him that way. I don't even see he's got a reach advantage too. I just think Albazi coming off that long layoff, I think he had some kind of surgery or something like that from an injury. I just think he's going to have a little bit of ring rust. And I think Moreno, I know he's kind of taken a while off as well, but I believe he hasn't taken as long as Albazi off. So Albazi has taken off. So we'll go Brandon Moreno via decision. Hard fought 5-round, hopefully. Hard fought 5-round fight. Yeah. So who do you guys think will be winning in the main event? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you are new, make sure and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.